So today I want to talk about living without regret. And the reason I chose this topic is because I know that there are people who are a little bit critical of our lifestyle and sort of the alternative way that we live, having, a lot of travel and a lot of taking our kids out of school to go places, or um, prioritizing spending money on travel over renovating our home and things like that. And so I just wanted to send this video out. Really, it's for myself in the future. Maybe I will be living in poverty in my retirement years and wondering, like, did I make the right choice? But I think what I want to say to myself is, in this moment, in this time, I don't have regrets. And in fact, I feel like what I would regret is if I didn't live my life to the fullest and didn't explore and adventure. I don't know how long I'm going to live for. I don't know how long Mike's going to live for. And I don't want to always say, let's do this later, let's put it off, let's dream about something and do it later. So for me, part of this adventure lifestyle is figuring out how to incorporate that into our regular life, into our day-to-day, into our time as a family, into my work life, because I want to be adventuring and exploring and discovering. And someday I probably won't be able to do that because I'll be older and I'll be so exhausted and just want to sit on my porch. But that's not how I feel today. Today I feel like I get home and I'm refreshed and then I'm ready to go again. And my kids might not live a life of exploration. They may choose to have a more stable and quiet life. And that's okay. Everybody's life should be the way that they dream it up. And at this time in our life, for Mike and I, we're into adventure. We're into being on the sailboat. We're into exploring. We have different interests. We don't always have the same interests. And at this time, because the kids are younger, part of the opportunity for them is to try this lifestyle. And it doesn't mean that they have to do that for their life either. We will support them in whatever they choose in their life. But we want them to come along for this ride and for this opportunity. So I'm proud of my family and the choices that we make. And I don't want to feel like I need to hold back. And I want to explore and discover and help. And so in whatever ways that we can do that, that's what we're going to do as a family. That's what we feel called to do. So yeah, this is just a little moment of reflection. Today is my 43rd birthday. And so I don't know if I'm midway through my life or not. I always joke every couple of years that I'm having my midlife crisis because I do something big and crazy. But I think that's just the way we live. We buy a boat and go sailing for 10 months. We move across the country and try a whole new lifestyle in the Maritimes. We kind of live with that adventurous spirit. And I don't know if we came at it from different angles. Like Mike and I, we grew up differently. And I did take little trips and adventures as a kid, but it was always inside of me that once I took my first plane ride when I was 16 years old and went somewhere. It was for an educational conference, actually. It was for a college program when I was 16 in the summer. And so I've always traveled to travel, but also traveled to learn, travel to grow, travel to experience new places. And I think it's no different whether I'm 16 or whether I'm 43. I'm planning another travel trip that involves education. So that's part of who I am. I guess it's been part of who I am for a long time. And so, I want to get more into, writing about some of the places I'm going and involving that in my life. I've always been a writer, and so I'm going to start doing that more. But yeah, this is just sort of a reflection on what regret might look like. And I want to remind myself that in this moment, in this time, I don't have regret. We've bought and sold a lot of properties in our life. We were real estate investors in our 20s and 30s. We were landlords. We had 55 rental units that we owned. And we sold them all too, and tried different things. So that is part of, for us, the adventure. Trying new businesses, succeeding in some and failing in others. Lately we've had at my work, we've had a bit of a downswing in terms of some of our programming. So I have made some changes there. And so I wouldn't call them necessarily failures. They're just changes and learning and growing and changing what we're doing. And I don't have any regrets of trying something new. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. I think that the part of the opportunity is to let something go when it's not serving you anymore. And there are a few things in my life right now that I can think of that are not serving me. But I don't think adventuring and exploring and spending time with my kids is one of those things. I love that there's people trying to swim behind me because you can hear how cold the ocean is. Yeah, I might not be dipping my toes in the water here, but I'm dipping my toes in life in different ways and exploring and trying new things. And no one can ever say that I didn't put effort into trying to do my best and to explore and try new things. And I think for my kids too, it's it's about having fun, like this guy's behind me, having an adventure of a lifetime and learning to try new things, learning to think outside the box and think out of your comfort zone. So that's totally part of it too. So yeah, so this is just my message to my future self. If I'm sitting there thinking how I have no money left and why did I spend it all in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I hope to remember that I was doing it with my eyes open. I was doing it with a willingness to explore and understanding that it might mean sacrifices in the future. And it's not that I don't make sacrifices now. We certainly do. But we're choosing to prioritize this lifestyle over other things, and I want to remember that at this time I don't have regrets about it, and I hope in the future I won't, because I might be foolish, but it's a foolishness that has led me to so many discoveries and to learning about who I am and to finding my own peace and my own journey. And so that's my sort of birthday message to myself, is to, an encouragement to keep going even when there's criticism, even when there's negativity, or even when there's people who don't understand how we could possibly pick up and move onto a sailboat when we have a 3-month-old. We faced that kind of criticism before, and I know we'll face it again. So I think what's important is just being true to ourselves, for me to be true to myself, and for us to remain, connected and committed as a family. And that's sort of what we're doing. So thanks for watching today.